welcome to GBN Live. I'm Rhonda Brooks, your host for today. And our guest today is Kathy Christmas with Cross Country Mortgage. She's located in Mount Pleasant. But before we get started, we want to thank our sponsor, Grand Strand Law Group, and their phone number is 843-492-5422. They have two offices. One is in Myrtle Beach and the other is in North Myrtle Beach. They can also be reached at grandstrandlawgroup.com. Please give permission to Facebook so that we can view your comments. You can do that at streamyard.com/Facebook. If you have any questions for today's guest, please type them in the comment section and we will view them live on air. And again, today's guest is Kathy Christmas with Cross Country Mortgage, Park Circle Chapter. Stay tuned, GBN Live is next. Okay, we're back, and today's guest is Kathy Christmas with Cross Country Mortgage. Hi, Kathy.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
It's great.
Can you start by telling us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and your family?
Sure. So Kathy Christmas, married into the name. So it's Christmas in July right now, right? I'm married for 23 years and we have two teenagers. I have a son that's getting ready to enter his sophomore year of college and a daughter who is entering her sophomore year in high school. She just got her permit about 2 weeks ago. So I have two chauffeurs now to drive me around everywhere.
Okay, that's exciting.
And I'll tell you too, also in my house, we have a very exciting house. I also have two grandparents. So I have my dad lives with us and my husband's mother. So we have a house full and makes it an exciting time. But we are definitely blessed to be able to spend family time together.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm a realtor, so I definitely understand the importance of speaking to a lender first. But can you also elaborate on why that is so important?
Absolutely. So, buying a home is an exciting milestone that happens in your life, and understanding your financial capacity and what you can afford is probably, I think, the biggest thing. So the worst thing you would want to happen is that you go out there looking at houses and you fall in love with one and you decide this is the one, or it has the features that you just absolutely want to have, and then go talk to a lender to find out that you don't even qualify for it. Or maybe we can qualify you for it, but when we discuss house payment and closing costs, it doesn't fit in the budget that you had set for yourself. So making a realistic budget determination is probably the biggest thing when you need to speak to a lender before you start looking at houses. Also, sometimes, you might want to, you might have some credit or financial situations that come up that take time to fix. And so you want to make sure that you talk with a lender and have them evaluate your credit and your income and your financial status to make sure that if there is things that you need to change or work on, that you have time to do so. Maybe it is that you're okay to go out shopping this weekend and that's great. Or maybe you have a couple of things that we need to address and you might need to wait a couple weeks or a month or even longer at that time. So there's other things too. So when you go put an offer on a house, when you have a pre-approval letter, so that means you've spoke with the lender, they've evaluated your credit, your income, and your assets, and you're approved for this dollar amount. It helps give you buying power and negotiation power when you're putting an offer on a house. So we've been in a situation for the last couple of years where there's more buyers out there than there are houses. So when you put an offer on a house, there's probably a couple other people also put an offer on a house. And a year or two ago, there was more than a couple of people put an offer on that same house. And so what makes your offer better or stronger than somebody else's? Well, one of those things is a pre-approval letter. So that way the seller knows that you have been you've been looked at by a lender who's checked all those boxes, the credit, the income, the assets, and things like that, and that this price point is something that you're qualified for. And we can even send you to underwriting before you even find a house. So that can give you a huge boost when you go put an offer on a house and somebody else is also putting an offer on that house. You can say, I've actually already been to an underwriter. My credit, income, and assets have already been evaluated. And I am approved for this. The only thing that needs to be underwritten is title and appraisal on this property, which can give you a huge boost and give you leverage over somebody else who's also putting an offer on a house.
Yeah, those are great words of advice. And I know a lot of times buyers sometimes drag their feet with getting documents to their lender. So, can you talk about the importance of getting the documents to their lender in a timely manner?
Sure, that is definitely an obstacle we face almost probably on a daily basis. And so, I like to, it's expectations and education. So we set expectations up front about, when we ask for a document, it's important that you get it to us really quickly, and then educate them on why that is. There's so many administrative tasks that go along with buying a house on the loan side. And most contracts are written for 30 days. So some of them are written for shorter, some of them are written for longer, but they on average 30 days. That's because it takes time to do all of those things. So we have to evaluate your paycheck stubs and your bank statements and your credit. And there's things that we have to do on that. Maybe there's letters of explanation. And every time you send us a document, we evaluate it. And I actually have a really, really good team. My assistant's been with us for a couple of years, and he can underwrite a file better than an underwriter, I feel like sometimes. So he really digs deep and looks at what is an underwriter going to ask for in these documents. And then he gets a picture, right? So he orders title work, he orders appraisal. We're waiting on a termite report. We're waiting on title fees from the attorney. We're looking at your paycheck stubs. We're looking at your W-2s or tax returns. We're looking at your bank statements. What kind of deposits are on there? Is there anything that we might need to address? We're looking at your credit report. Is there things reporting towards you that are not supposed to be there? And he just puts together this package and then sends it off to an underwriter. And an underwriter is going to evaluate each one of these things. And sometimes when we look at these things, it peels layers over to add additional documents. And so then we have to go find that document and send it back. And sometimes the document's not correct, like maybe half the page got cut off or somebody sent a screenshot, and we have to go back to them and say, hey, from a third party, an underwriter looking at this particular document, your name's not on this document, your account number, like this could be anybody's bank statement. I know it's yours, but from an outside standpoint, we have to make sure if we're giving you $400,000 or $500,000 that we're expecting you to pay back over 30 years, we have to make sure all the documents are correct and that we paint a picture about why this loan is right for you. And when you send us those documents, like let's send me a paycheck stub and we look at it, we say, okay, this is good. We don't send it to the underwriter right then. We collect everything, paint that picture of why you're the risk factor we want for this loan, and we send that to underwriting and have them evaluate it without any kind of biased determination on whether you should be approved for this loan or not. So when you send us a paycheck stub and then 3 days later you send us a bank statement, and then we saw in that bank statement something else we need to ask you for, and so then you wait another 3 days and you send that back to us, it just delays the process and it'll make it stressful for you, and it makes it stressful for us. And when you guys gave us a contract, so the buyer and the seller, they came together, they agreed upon this contract, and everybody signed it saying, this is the day we want to close, and these are the terms. It's our job to meet that deadline. And so we're scrambling around trying to get all of these things to get you to that closing table on time. And so I always try to set expectations up front. Like if I ask you for something, or if my assistant asks you for something, or processor asks you for something, it's imperative that you get it to as quickly as possible. So one, we can evaluate it to make sure that it's not going to open up any other issues or things that we need to address, and that we can get it all over to the underwriter, because it's not just the buyer's documents we're waiting on. We're waiting on the appraisal. We're waiting on the title work. We're waiting on the termite report. We're waiting on all these things to come together and then to send it off to get that approval to get you to the closing table on time.
When we talk about documents, what documents does a buyer need to get started?
So every loan is a science project. So everybody needs something different. If you're a standard hourly or salary W-2 employee, it's pretty standard of W-2s, paycheck stubs, 2 months of bank statements, and an ID. If your pay is variable, like you get commissions, you get bonuses, you're self-employed, things like that, we may need 1 year tax returns, sometimes 2 years tax returns, depending on the situation. So every single one is different. So we take that application and we go through it, and based off what you put in there, we will then ask you for the documents. I actually, it's so funny. I just got new business cards that have your basic documents that you need on the back of the business card to make it a little bit easier. But those are just basics. So we need proof of income and proof of assets, basically.
Well, that's a great idea with your business card to have all that information
Yeah.
for the buyer. Once the buyer has found the house they want to purchase, when do they need to let you know?
So, hopefully right away. Like I get just as excited as they do when when their offer is accepted, especially these last couple of years when there's multiple people put an offer. I want my buyer to win. And, if this is the house they want, I want to help make that. So I get just as emotionally caught up as they do. So the sooner the better. One of the biggest things is the realtor sends us the contract, and that's really the piece that we need to get started. Like the terms of the contract, like how much are you buying this for? What is our closing date? Is the seller contributing? Do we have to have a termite report? All those things are all outlined that the seller and the buyer agreed upon that contract. And so we can't even start working on it until we have that contract and see what your terms are. And then once we have those terms, then we get to work on it really quickly. So I would say, technicality wise, we need that contract as soon as possible. As far as the actual buyer telling me, I hope if they don't tell me, because sometimes the real estate agent will send me the contract before I even know. I immediately reach out. I'm like, oh my God, congratulations. It's going to be so great. So, the
So you
buyer doesn't.
answered
Yeah,
my next question that as soon as they're under contract, you need the contract.
that's right. Yeah, we need the contract as soon as possible. And, we got to get insurance quotes, and we got to reach out to the attorney and find out what their fees are going to be on this particular transaction. Everything's kind of based on the house price and what you guys are selling it at. And so everything kind of depends on the terms of that contract. And so we jump on it right away and get moving.
Okay, so we're coming up on a commercial break. So after the break, we're going to talk about credit scores and the impact they make. So everyone stay tuned. We will be right back after this commercial break.
Hi, I'm Justice Ann. I've been a canine liaison at Grand Strand Law Group for, 30 years? What's that? You don't believe me? I meant 30 dog years, of course. First rule of lawyering, read the fine print. Anywho, my humans at Grand Strand Law Group have a combined 20 years experience. I know, not as much as me, but that's in people years. So yeah, still pretty impressive. Real estate, estate planning, or probate, you need GSLG.
Grand Strand Law Group. Trust us, we have a dog.
Great Business Networking grew out of the idea that by creating lasting friendships within the community, we can make the community even better.
I was looking to network with professionals and to be able to refer my clients to somebody that I trust.
Well, it's really important to trust the members of the group because we really generate quality referrals, and to know somebody, be friends with them, and get that qualified referral is the key to success.
It is networking, but it doesn't feel like networking, and that is important to me. I come to the meetings, I have fun, I make great connections, and I help grow my business.
GBN, these are some of the best professionals in the market, and having that resource available to me, that's priceless.
Well, GBN is a network of business professionals that build long-lasting friendships that will not only grow my business, will grow yours as well. That's what referral marketing is all about.
GBN really is the most important marketing for your business. Check us out today.
Hi, and we're back with Kathy Christmas from Cross Country Mortgage Park Circle chapter. We want to thank our sponsor, Grand Strand Law Group. They can be reached at 843-492-5422 with 2 locations, one in Myrtle Beach and one in North Myrtle Beach. They can be reached at grandstrandlawgroup.com. If you have any questions for GBN or today's guest, please type them in your comments, and we will do our best to get them aired here live on GBN Live. Okay, Kathy, so before the break, we were talking about documents you needed. So let's talk a little bit about credit. It's crazy to me how much a difference of 20 points can make to someone. So how do you help people increase their credit score?
Yeah, so like you said, credit usually goes in 20 point buckets. So you have like 580 to 600, 600 to 620, 620 to 640. So anytime you can move up a bucket, it really does help you financially. It'll save you money out of your pocket at the closing table and in other aspects as well. So so just because we've been doing this for so long, I know ways that will help people's credit increase. So there are a good example of people who will call for me for the very first time to get pre-qualified, and I'll be asking questions about their credit before I even pull it, and they'll be like, I paid everything off. Everything's paid off. I'm good to go. And so then, I pull their credit, and that's right. They did pay everything off that they had active. And the only thing left is some, late payments from years ago or in the past. As you go through life, especially these days, everybody's wanting to throw credit cards and things at you. Things happen. You can miss a payment in your life, or, life happens. You could have had some tragedy in your life that, messed up your credit a while back. And so what you want to look for is to have good outweigh the bad. You actually need active credit that you're actively using. You're not maxing out your credit cards. You're paying your payments on time, and you don't have too much out there. So, one of the biggest things I'll tell people is to get their credit card usage down to 30% or below. And if I really need a boost out of your credit score, I'll ask you to pay your credit cards down to 10%, because that will help you give a boost in your credit. Opening up a secure credit card. So sometimes people don't have any credit cards at all, or they only have one, or the ones they had, they've already closed out and they don't owe anything on them. If you open up a secure credit card and put a small balance, right, you don't want to max it out and make your payments on time, it'll give you a quick credit boost. We also have some tools at Cross Country Mortgage that we can use to where I can actually put in off your credit report, I need a 20-point bump on this person. What can I do? Or your target credit is 660. What could they do? And it'll actually spit out a list of things for me. I mean, I kind of know a lot of it already just because I've been in the business so long and I've seen what works and what doesn't work. But that'll kind of give me some good ideas as well, and give the person good ideas to figure out these are some things they think are reasonable for them, and this one seems a little bit more far-fetched. But the higher they can get their credit score, the better they'll get on their interest rate, or if they're having to pay points for their interest rate, it'll be less they have to pay. So it definitely benefits people financially to get their credit score as best as possible. And, my advice is free. All that's just part of the process. I'd be happy to evaluate people's credit and tell them these are some things you should do to put yourself in a better position to help save yourself some money.
Okay, have you heard of Kickoff? I have a client that recently used it, and it seemed like it drastically increased her score in a simple way.
Yeah. So I've heard of it. I've never actually used and have any of my clients use it. There's lots of them out there though. And a lot of it may depend on how much is already on your credit report. So if you don't have a lot of stuff on your credit, small changes can make a big difference. But if you've had a lot of stuff, maybe you're a little bit older and you just had, life happen in different credit cards and loans and things, you have a bunch of stuff on your credit, it may be harder to make that difference. You want good to outweigh the bad, basically. Secure credit cards, which I think Kickoff has as part of that, is a secure credit card, is usually one of the easiest ways. And paying down current credit cards to a smaller balance are usually some of the biggest things you can do to up your credit. But Kickoff is probably a good one, but there's lots of them out there as well that can do those sorts of things. I also like if it's really just tight, like it may make or break whether you're qualified for this loan. Sometimes we'll have people look at my FICO. That one you do have to pay for, but there's lots of credit bureaus or credit monitoring services. Credit Karma is a very popular one that people use, but they use a different scoring model. So a lot of those services out there are good at showing you, like Credit Karma, what's reporting on your credit, what's showing against you, what's showing for you. But the model that they use to score you is different than what mortgage is. But my FICO uses the mortgage credit. So we can actually see on my FICO what is, if I were to pull your credit, what exactly it's going to be. And it also gives you tips, and it gives you daily alerts on, hey, your credit score just went up 5 points because of this and went down 3 points because of that. So that's a good monitoring one as well.
Okay.
And we always have the option of soft pulls too, where we could kind of take a peek and look and see what's going on with your credit and what adjustments you need to make.
Okay, so Credit Karma and those things may show my credit score, but it may be a little bit lower once it's pulled.
Yeah, and Credit Karma uses a different scoring model, so they weight things differently. So your score may be different on Credit Karma than what any bank would be. A mortgage
Okay.
score is different than what, like a Credit Karma, because Credit Karma is kind of looking at everything and they weight it differently. But if you were to go to a bank or a mortgage person, we all pull the same score because it's a mortgage score, and that's different than what Credit Karma is. But if I ask you to pay down a credit card or open up a secure credit card, when that creditor starts reporting it for you or against you, whatever, Credit Karma will alert you, hey, this bank is now reporting this credit card against you. So then we know, hey, that's actually reporting. Because the one thing about credit is it's not an overnight fix. Like, these companies only report to the credit bureaus once a month. And so did they report last month and now they're not going to report till another month? So it takes time for all those changes to take effect. And so using those things to monitor to find out when things are reporting against you are definitely a huge plus. But the score may be different compared to what like a Credit Karma would show you versus a mortgage score.
Okay, that's great information. Thank you, Kathy. Let's touch for a minute on refinancing. I know when the interest rates were lower a couple years ago, this was huge. Do you have any advice on refinancing?
Absolutely. I think I heard a statistic yesterday that there's over 1.3 million refinances going on right now. And it's because of the equity that people have built into their homes. So the housing market has gone really, really up high, and it's continuing, and we're not seeing any slowdown in that. And so people are getting all this equity in their home. And so while they might have a lower rate, and if they want to refinance right now, it might go to a higher rate, it may save them money. So what kind of credit cards do they have? Student loans, car payments, things like that. So if I write, of course, people don't write checks anymore, but if, when I'm going to my bank account and send out, this money is going to my mortgage, and this money is going to my car, and this money is going to my student loan, and this one's going to this credit card, and this one's going to that credit card. When I add all that up and I'm spending X number of dollars a month, if I could refinance, consolidate that all into one loan, and now when I'm writing out my payment every month, it's $1,200 cheaper. So yes, my mortgage rate might have gone up, but the consolidation of all the different loans, and then what are the interest rates on those other loans? I mean, credit cards right now are out the roof. I just took out my first student loan for my son, and the interest rate is over 5%. So if you can consolidate that all into one, and now when you write those checks every month or go to your bank and send out your payments, if you're writing thousands of dollars less, what could you do with that extra money in your pocket? The ideal for us would be like, put it towards your principal. So then you could shorten the term. Instead of a 30-year mortgage, now you're going to end up having a 20-year mortgage and pay down that principal. Or, life has gotten expensive lately in the grocery store, and all these things are going up. Insurance is going up. So maybe you could use that extra money to pay for certain things, or maybe you have life changes coming up. Like I just, got one in college, and I got one that'll be in college a couple of years. I can use some extra cash right now to start saving up for those things. So refinances are not dead. There are definitely a lot of benefits on it right now to debt consolidate or home improvements. I've had quite a few of those actually already this year, where people have using the equity in their home that they've gotten to now renovate something in their house.
Okay. What mortgage programs are out there for someone that might be a first-time home buyer? I know in the past when the market was kind of crazy, first-time home buyers kind of got left behind, but now is a good time for them to get into the home buying process. So what do you offer for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So, FHA is always a common one. It's a 3.5% down. It'll let your debts versus your income be a little bit more expanded. So it makes it a little bit more easier for a first time home buyer. There's a conventional product, Home Ready and Home Possible, that can give you reduced PMI payments and maybe a little bit better interest rate. We do have a conventional Home Ready product right now where we're offering $4,000 towards down payment from the lender if you qualify for Home Ready. So those are different things. Those are probably the most popular ones is, the conventional Home Ready and Home Possible, and then FHA with the lower down payments. With the conventional Home Ready, you can do 3% down, and then FHA is 3.5% down.
All right, well, okay, Kathy, I'm going to have some fun with these questions with you.
Okay.
So, what was your first job?
Hardee's.
Okay.
I worked at a Hardee's, and my husband worked at an Arby's.
Are you a night owl or an early bird?
I'm a night owl. I struggle in the morning, but I can stay up late.
Okay. Are you a dog or a cat person?
Ooh, I'm going to say both. If I had to choose, I would say probably dog, but I have both.
Okay. Are you a dark or milk chocolate person?
Definitely dark chocolate.
Okay. What's your favorite color?
I'm going to say teal.
Okay. Your favorite word or phrase?
Oh, wow. I don't even know.
I feel like that one always stumps people.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
What's your favorite movie?
Oh, wow. That's a good one, too. Gosh, I haven't been to the movies in so long either. I remember a long time ago, I used to like that movie Rat Race just because it made me laugh the whole time. I'm definitely a comedy fan. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, what's your favorite song?
I really like an array of stuff. Currently, I like that the Luke Combs rendition of the Fast Car.
Oh, the Tracy Chapman song. Yeah,
Yes.
that's really
Yeah.
good.
Currently, I like that one, but it kind of varies on. Sometimes I want something a little more poppy, and I like it all really.
Okay. What's your favorite vacation spot?
So right now, I think we just finished our 7th or 8th year where we go to the Keys every summer, the Florida Keys, and we rent a house and bring a boat. And every day we get up and we get on a boat and we go find a sandbar and we plop our butts and do nothing. And so that's right.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah. If the kids are with us, they like a little more action packed. We like Universal Studios, even though they're teenagers now. Universal Studios is good. We actually just went to Carowinds recently. So they like the thrill rides. But my favorite spot is just a sandbar and nothing but blue water.
Okay. What's your favorite mobile app?
My favorite mobile app. Unfortunately, it's maybe a vice of mine is TikTok at the moment.
It is addictive.
It's addictive, yeah. But I don't play a lot of games too much. So it's mainly probably TikTok's probably the thing I open the most on my phone.
Okay. Well, thank you. Well, Kathy has given us a ton of great information. So if you want to get in touch with Kathy, you can call her at 843-819-0225, kathychristmas.com. And Kathy, before we go, can you tell us why GBN and referral marketing is so important to you?
Sure. The one thing that I feel like I like GBN the most is the friends first. So I'm in the Park Circle group. So we're kind of in the middle of North Charleston, and the people in our group come from all over Charleston. So we're just kind of in the middle of the circle, and everybody comes from all these different directions. And in Charleston, traffic has gotten horrific. But I drive, I mean, like during the summer, it might take me 20 to 30 minutes to get there. But during the school year, sometimes it can take me an hour to drive there. And there are chapters way closer to my house. But I love my chapter. Like the people in there, like I enjoy hanging out with them. I'm there because of my business, because I've gotten tons of business from them. I mean, one closing for me will pay for years of my membership. So the value in it far exceeds, but I actually like going there. I like the people. We actually all went together and did a Top Golf recently because we actually just like each other, and it's good quality people. And I like being a resource for people too. So whether it's in my personal life or in business life, either if somebody needs a financial advisor or an insurance person or a Medicare person or a carpet cleaner, whatever it is, I'm like, I know somebody. And I really do like them. And I think they do quality work. It's not like I'm referring them because they're in my group. Like I really have gotten to know and trust and like these people. And I really want to refer them. So it's work, but it feels more like a social happy time than that.
I agree. That's awesome, Kathy. Well, thank you for joining us, Kathy, and thank you for watching today. So remember, if it's Wednesday, it's GBN Live. See you next time.